they're not able to. All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, and at what time of the day you're watching this recording. So people start joining in little by little, but for those of you who are not able to make it, not to worry, we will share this very good discussion, very good presentation, I would say unique presentation with all of you. And we hope, we all very much hope and very much would like you to follow up with our amazing presenter. So who is really truly a unique leader in his own right. So let me just introduce him without further ado to give him the floor. So he will be speaking instead of me talking. But few words about our connection. So I am a NASA Globe Program US partner for the last 11 years. So in Jim, who is going to be our speaker today, participated with his students a lot in NASA Globe programming activities over all of these years. So I especially would like to recognize him for his outstanding presentation with his students at SUNY Fredonia. For those of you who've been there, you know that wonderful higher education institution. It's a State University of New York. So Jim and his students did outstanding job there as NASA Globe Program advocates and participants. So, and then also Jim made a fantastic presentation with his students at Boston University, also as a NASA Globe active participant. And if I'll start counting everything that Jim has done and achieved over the years, I will probably fill out the whole hour. So I don't want to really take too much of the time because Jim has a lot of information to share. But let me just very briefly introduce him and you will understand why I'm so excited. So our speaker today is Jim Gorman. He's an accomplished educator with over 22 years of teaching experience. As the science department chair of Nipmuc Regional High School, Jim teaches physics and engineering to grades 9 to 12 students. His innovative, hands-on approach to teaching has inspired his students and gained recognition with a project featured on WBZ Boston Eye on Education. Jim has also made significant contributions to curriculum development, collaborating with the Massachusetts Department of Education to develop strand maps that visualize how science, technology, engineering concepts connect over the course of K-12 education. Most recently, Jim was honored as a 2024 Massachusetts STEM Teacher of the Year, and Jim has launched the Massachusetts K-12 Climate Change Challenge. Today, he is here to tell us more about this exciting initiative that combines his passion for STEM education with addressing one of the most pressing issues of our time. And with that, it gives me enormous amount of pleasure. Welcome, Jim Gorman, truly a unique educator who is making a difference not only in Massachusetts, not only in the United States, but he is making a huge difference around the world. Jim, the floor is yours. And I also would like to make a full disclosure. I am double booked for another session. So I will give full hosting rights to Jim Gorman, who will run this session. And you are in a very good hands. Jim shares the same excitement with me about everything. And just honestly, this is a gift to all of you who are watching this and recording. Jim, the floor is yours, and I will make you a host.
Okay, thank you, Larissa. Thank you very much. That was very flattering, to say the least. Thank you.
Thank you.
I show up and I do my best. That's all.
Yes, and Jim, don't mind. I put this in almost like a webinar setting. So just address a virtual audience because they most of 99% of them will be watching the recording. So on behalf of Massachusetts Central Massachusetts STEM Network, huge thank you. I know how busy you are, and I know all networks would like to have you as a speaker. So it's a privilege and a pleasure to have you. The floor is yours.
All right, thank you. Okay, so let's get started here if we can do this. I think that's up. Perfect. So I'm Jim Gorman. And this has been quite the project to put together. It's called the Massachusetts K-12 Climate Change Challenge. Um, and it all kind of came about from, being named STEM Teacher of the Year. So um, the inspiration really was going to the governor's announcement. She was actually away. So Lieutenant Governor um, made the announcement back in April, May, can't remember exactly. But the governor was over in Italy talking about her climate change initiative in the state, trying to build resilience and all that. So I was like, wow, that kind of impressive. And I was like, maybe that's what I do, with this title and try to build into that. Because I don't know, titles are titles. Um, so I was talking to Judy Sandrock from over at Max IQ, um, and she had stated pretty much the same thing, and that they were willing to sponsor such a thing for the state. And I went, oh, okay, great. But then the idea was so overwhelming, I just kind of put it down. And then during the summer, I said, well, let's pick it up. And so many people, like the vision really resonated with people to creating a more climate aware and resilient Massachusetts. And to do that, right, as an educator, I'm like, hey, why not focus on education and not just high school education? I'm a high school educator, but K through 12. What can we do to really incorporate this? So I was talking to Cassandra, Nicole, um, uh, Desi, and they were saying, yeah, a lot of people ask, how can they incorporate, climate change? Where's climate change in the standards? And so they were like, we love this project because it's kind of helping teachers see where they can incorporate climate change into the existing standards, right? And so, really building literacy for students and those STEM skills, those important STEM skills. This isn't just about teaching them knowledge. It's about how they find the knowledge, right? Getting hands-on with exploring the real world around us. Promote and turn that science into promoting civic engagement, right? Not just leaving science in the science classroom or the hour they get to do science in a week, but can that flow into math and civics and art and English, all sorts of stuff you can do they don't, that aren't always connected together. Um, and so as a educator myself, I see a lot of programs come through and, they're focused on a particular project, but, the project is just one part. Sometimes it's an add-on, sometimes not, of the curriculum. And I always want something deeper, something that we can infuse into the curriculum and really engage the students over multiple topics and keep going back to it. So like if I was a kindergarten or not, maybe kindergarten through elementary school, right? Teaching English, how could we write, take this picture of change over time, this collage really of over time. How can we turn that into an activity where we're reinforcing our English or maybe our math skills, right? Um, and so really just getting more innovative with how we teach rather than just, this is the standard, I teach the standard exactly, and we move on. How can we incorporate everything? It was really about inspiring engagement with students, right? And teachers. We don't want to leave the teachers out because part of this program is really engaging the students to bring this into their classroom and start making that change. And so we're going to go on to structure here. So picking up on that K through 12 range, it's a big range. So we've kind of narrowed it down to elementary schools kind of like climate detectives is one session we have, right? One category for this. And there's community climate impacts. So that's targeting middle school areas. Then we have climate data analytics, really looking at more of, oh, and civics is in there. I should have put that in there. Civics, put that junior, the junior civics project. We have a whole, well, I'll tell you about that later, but that fits in as well. And then for all ages, how can you create innovative ideas for solving some of these climate issues, making us more resilient, right? We might not be able to solve some of these huge issues, but we can notice them. We can start advocating, as you'll see in some of our sessions. There's a lot of different stuff we can do that's positive. We want to focus on the positive aspect. I think the students and us in the media get a lot of negative, like there's nothing we can do and it's doom and gloom. And we want to be positive and empower people to not only understand climate change, but also to view it as a vehicle to learn, right? Learn math, learn English, learn art. Like beautiful artworks have come out of some of these projects. And so that's kind of our vision and goal for this, how we've kind of set it up here. And so we've kind of structured the challenge timeline to begin mid-November, so November 14th, 15th. 14th is going to be a day, a workshop day, just for elementary teachers, K through 5. And then on the 15th, we're going to bring in middle and high school teachers. I'm going to bring them here to Nipmuc Regional High School, have some great workshops, really teaching you about climate change a little bit, and then empowering you to start incorporating that into your classroom within a kind of challenge setting. So like at the end, your students will not only be doing the science, but hopefully you'll engage them to come to one of the symposia we have around the state to communicate, right? Act like a science, not only do the science, but communicate that science, okay? And so after the kickoff, that's where we begin kind of the project development phase in your classrooms. From December to April, right? Really in your classrooms, developing, working through like how you're going to implement this. What does it look like? The organizations we've partnered with are going to be providing monthly online sessions for you. So you can check in, you can get ideas, you can run ideas by them. Your students can interact with them and get information. Our orgs have been unbelievably supportive with this. It's amazing. And that was one of the issues that were out there. Everybody was identifying this is what we need because they're so separate organizations and it's hard for everybody to know what's going on. So bring them in, kind of have everybody together and working together to do this. And the symposiums will be, May and June, depending on when the organization has them. So that's the timeline. Diving in a little bit to the kickoff workshops, which happened November 14th and 15th. The Deputy Climate Chief, Jonathan, is going to be coming day one. He's going to be, sharing about what his office is. His office is one of a kind in the United States. Governor Healy instated the climate chief, Michelle Hoffer. Unfortunately, she's not going to be able to be with us, but Deputy Climate Chief Jonathan was more than happy to come, share about their work, and inspire you to bring you into their work, right? How can teachers, right, really bring this climate change and the governor's vision to life? And then day two, we have the really talented and wonderful Bob Chen coming, Dr. Bob Chen from UMass University, who, another Excellence in Education Award. He is phenomenal to listen to. He's going to be delivering a positive message about how we can view the world as a system. He has a couple really cool visual aids to tell you about what that one he's been doing for experiment. He's been doing for 17 years with shrimp and that. It's really cool. And just really staying positive, inspiring us that, you know, we're not hopeless. There are things we can do, whether they're big, whether they're small, right? Every little bit of change adds up. So we are thrilled with these two keynote speakers. And our partnering orgs, we have so many of them. We actually had to cut it off because there are only so many we could actually handle this year. One of our big sponsors is Max IQ. They are a wonderful organization focused on space education, as well as the SDGs, the UN SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. So a lot of their sessions, actually all their sessions, I should say, are going to be devoted to a particular or two particular Sustainable Development Goals. We have the Globe program, who has been hugely supportive of this as well with their time and so many cool sessions they're offering. There's Mass Audubon and Envirothon, Blue Hill Observatory. They're opening up their 139 years worth of climate data to us so that we can, some of the students, if they would like, could work with it and start maybe modeling, or, you know, there's all sorts of stuff you can do with that. Climate interactive. Well, at Blue Hill also, there's an elementary project as well. A lot of these have dual elementary and high school buzz. Climate interactive, we have a really talented lady, Denise Linder, coming along with Jane Hines Fry to teach about Climate Interactive's climate modeling program, which is totally free and open source, and they keep developing it, and the students can use it to kind of model what would happen for their location, right? We really want this to be local, hands-on for the students, not some big abstract. I mean, those are great, but how can we get local and solve local problems? And that brings in Cooler Communities, who's kindly offered to offer grants to people if they see things that they would like in their, like, for example, Max IQ or the Globe will probably have equipment you might need to buy with it. They're willing to fund that through grants, along with symposia. If you wanted to start a symposium at your school, they help with that as well. So there's so much here. I just get so excited when I talk about this because these are people really willing to engage with teachers and meet them where they are. There's also the Wade Institute ready to come, along with, oh man, I forget, Resource Allocation Network. It's something like that. I wish I wrote the name down. But that's a talented professor from Holy Cross coming to speak to you about her experiences and her wealth of experience in giving PD. Like, she's just an awesome lady to talk to. Absolutely phenomenal. So that's kind of our partnering organizations for this year. And here's a little bit. I gave away some of it, but looking here, this is kind of like on the elementary day. This is what the organizations are going to be offering. Eventually, we'll have these hyperlinked. So you can go in when about beginning of November, we'll start sending out the, for the people who have tickets, we'll send out the session registration so you can kind of book which sessions you'd like. But these are some of those sessions for day one. And then day two, these are the sessions. So you can see here, these are the middle school and high school. They're sprinkled through. Some are just general, right? Anybody can go to them, like the Max IQ Climate Action Mega Challenge, or the Globe, getting to know about the Globe program, which is phenomenal. If you don't already know about that program, I highly suggest you find out about it. These research opportunities are awesome for kids. Just getting them to go and speak, right, is just so, so great. And resume building too. Resource Modeling Association, that's the name, yes. I was thinking of before. Blue Hill using their weather data, right? We got Climate Interactive. And the Nipmuc History Justice Department looking at those civics projects, right? How those are a big civics project done, kind of like sort of in the place of MCAS that the state has. So we have a talented team from Nipmuc coming and presenting on that, and how you can kind of take some of those projects and morph them or move them into a civics action project. So they will be going through that. And then the general structure for the day, for the workshops, it's going to be a little check-in, right? Check and register, get your name tag. And then we're going to open about 8:15 really and have the opening keynote. Workshop 1, we'll do a project showcase. So if you know anybody that has like a classroom project they would like to come present, right? We're going to have a little symposium here. Maybe it's a teacher that wants to come and show off what they've done in the classroom, what they've learned from another organization. We would love that. I always get so much inspiration and ideas from looking at what people have done and saying, oh, we could do that, or maybe we need to modify it this way, but just awesome. So that'll also be here. So we're looking for more signups for that. The workshop, the workshop 2, and then lunch, free lunch, everything's free. I'm using what I have from my, what do you call it? The STEM Teacher of the Year award to kind of fund a lot of this work. And so we have lunch and networking together. And that's really, a lot of these organizations have so many community partners or know of projects that are going on around the state that we might not necessarily be in tune with, that you can pick their brains and really find out like what's going on out there and what's going on in your community that maybe your students could contribute to. I mean, like, what's better than that? Having hands-on real world, that's awesome. So then we'll have our third session of the day. Like an hour and 20-minute sessions, and then we'll go to our closing, where close up with some final words, some inspiration, and then we'll really get into those grant options. Tell you what do we have out there and how you can do it. So we'll be asking the orgs to kind of like pre-write up maybe some stuff, so it's a kind of a more of a copy and paste for ideas, the general stuff at least, and then you can build on that. So you're not developing it all yourself, but within the sessions, they will provide you with ideas and wordings that might be worth it, and equipment you might need or could really benefit from for doing the work. Okay, so that's kind of a little working session there at the end. And then some schools might not need that, and that's awesome. I wish I was one of those schools that could not have to rely on a lot of grant money, but that's how I get a lot of my projects done, is through grants. And I know how much work they are to do and to write, and so we are trying to give you time and resources to write those grants. So it's not an burden for you to kind of get them done. And so support and resources, right? We have all those organizations. They are more than willing to talk to you outside of the event. or outside even those monthly check-ins, right? These are organizations that are dedicated for teachers to, they really want to help. I can't express how wonderful they were in all the meetings we had over the summer and even into September. It was phenomenal, their support. And this includes climate data, right? A lot of times, especially for like middle high school, we don't have to rely all the time on measurements we've taken. We can use satellite photos, right? Or information taken from satellites, right? That are, miles above us, but can record temperature changes and layers and all sorts of stuff. So that really is meant to democratize space, right? So take what we have here, right? Use that open access data to really dive in and find out what's happening at my location. Maybe it's your school. How has your school changed over time, right? With Google Maps, you can go and change the years and see how that's changed over the years. Massachusetts is a huge repository of pictures, aerial pictures. Google just sucks them in and uses them. So there's multiple ways of accessing it. You'll find out more about that when from some of our organizations, but it doesn't always have to cost money. It just doesn't, and it can really help kids understand and value space, right? As not just going to the moon or Mars, but actually a valuable platform for us to view and study our local environments. I mean, it's mind-blowing to think what those satellites can actually see and measure from where they are. It's just really a feat that they do that. And then I already mentioned it, but reiterate it here. Connections to the local community. I think those are huge, right? Take the science you're doing and connect it to the local community. That has huge value, right? Gets parents involved, gets community involved, gives such confidence to the students when they can look back and say, wow, we did this, right? Like, well, we did that. Like, we helped make that change. Like, that is just so motivating and so life-changing for those students. And so finishing up here, help us get teachers. We need teachers. We want to reach as many teachers as we can with this project. We got so many organizations willing to help, and they really want to change students' lives, right? And so please help us. This is the QRL code to the form. The registration form, we'll leave it open, extending it to beginning of November. If you've already applied, we've sent out the email saying you're good, your tickets are great. We have you down, and we will be sending you a registration session registration form. So picking registrations, picking sessions, which ones do you want? That's better to say. And if you have any questions, you can always email me at jgorman@mursd.org. And that was a fly through, half an hour, but it was a fly through. There's so much more that could be said, but are there any questions first? Okay. Well, thank you very much for having me. Have a wonderful day, and we look forward to seeing you at the 2024
Mr.
Massachusetts.
Gorman?
Oh, yeah. Yes,
Mr.
Richard.
Gorman, you probably said this, and I think I missed that. For teachers that are interested in helping out, it could be any age level, high school, from kindergarten up through high school.
Up through high school, yeah.
Good. How about some college or community college students? Is that a possibility too?
That's a possibility as well. Yeah.
Um,
If they would really
Excellent.
like to. Yeah.
Great. All right, Mr. Gorman, thank you very much. I'll be in touch. I'm very interested in the grant information that you mentioned.
Thank you, Mr. Milcheski. Have a great day.
You too. Bye now.
Bye. Excellent. Well, thank you very much, everybody. You have a wonderful day, and I look forward to meeting you on that either November 14th or 15th, or maybe you come for both days. We look forward to hosting you. Have a wonderful day.